Steve Geller in the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert here at Saints training camp on a windy Wednesday. Bobby, we saw no Drew Brees action today. He was just wearing a baseball cap. So we got a lot more action from Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, but kind of a rough go in this weather today for the quarterbacks.
Yeah, they were struggling dealing with the wind. I don't know, the wind gusts sure seemed like higher than 25 miles an hour. Now, coming out the east, whether you're going with the wind or against the wind, obviously, against the wind, a lot tougher to throw. And it showed in the 2-minute drills. Both Taysom and Jameis could not move. The offense, the defense, dominated. And if you look to end practice on a high note, if you look at number 38, Keith Washington, the young kid, rookie out of West Virginia, coming up with an interception. So really, it was almost like the offense against, instead of 11-11, it was like 11 against 11.5. Because I think the wind did come into play on the offense, maybe not being as successful. Looking at, one-on-one again, or even in team, Kane Ellis continues to impress. I mean, making interceptions in one-on-one or just pass coverage or even getting sacks. Looking at probably two positive plays, big plays by the offense, and they both were by Taysom. I'm not saying Taysom played well, but he did play better than Jameis today. There was a play Taysom to Emmanuel Sanders, plus 40-yard type play in the seam. That was big time. Probably the biggest play, though, and it was a busted coverage, was Taysom to Troutman, the rookie tight end. That would have been a plus 45-yard touchdown play. I thought, we just had him on the radio early this week, Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon Rankins was outstanding. Coach is getting fired up. Sheldon's getting fired up. He had 2 back-to-back run stuffs. He probably batted a couple of passes. Just very active. So good for Sheldon Rankins as he's trying to come back. Cam Jordan, sack. He also recovered a fumble when Alvin Kamara had fumbled. So, just saw Patrick Robinson, P-Rob, came up big. He had an interception covering Kamara. I thought that was outstanding. How he played on the ball, not only would hit his hands, but dealing with the wind, was able to catch it. This is very challenging, even more for the quarterbacks, but like a punter, like Marstead, you can be the greatest punter in the world. When you're trying to punt into the wind, and he wanted to see, because you could be playing outside and dealing with, 25, 30 mile per hour winds. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you punt the ball too low, then you can't cover it. So you're going to give up a return. And then if you punt it too high, the wind kind of stops, and you can have like a 15, 20-yard punt. That's a hard, it was gusting. Ty Montgomery on a check down route, plus 25 yards. You see him continuing to make plays. Malcolm Brown in the interior getting a sack. Like I said, Cam Jordan getting a sack. We'll look at one of those 2-minute drills. Margus, he ended up having like back-to-back sacks. I think Sean was kind to the offense on probably 3 or 4 plays where he wanted the play to continue, but it definitely would have been a sack. But Keith Washington overall ended up getting that 2-minute at the end of practice, that 2-minute interception, but also had another one against Jameis Winston earlier. So, to say the least, Jameis was not accurate. They were trying to do like a minute 36. You're down 3 points, 1 timeout, but the offense was even struggling to get like a first down or back-to-back first downs. Onyemata came up big, batted pass. Like I said, P.J. Williams, boy, he keeps getting better and better, coming up with an interception. Hendrickson got a sack. Boy, they were all sharing the wealth. Just a lot of guys contributing across the board. So I would say, out of the practices that I witnessed, what we had now, Steve, four practices?
4 practices, right.
I would give the defense 3 and the offense 1. And maybe not as fair dealing with the conditions, but hey, this is football. You're going to have to play when you're dealing with adverse conditions with the wind. The defense, while they can build upon, they have a lot of swagger and confidence. That's going to go a long way, and hopefully that'll be the case against Tampa Bay come week 1, because we can need our defense to roll.
Real quick, we mentioned the punter issues in the win, but no such issues for kicker Will Lutz. He had a pretty good day in the field goal drills.
Will Lutz was out and kicking into the wind.
Right.
Not with the wind. He was like 6 for 6. And I think they kept it like 35, like 30-ish to 41. He did make a 41-yarder in this wind, then into the wind. So, yeah, Will Lutz, he was true. No issues as far as him kicking the ball. And that's a great sign because you could have these conditions. You know, you're playing in Carolina, Philadelphia, Denver. You got to make that outside kick. And it might be into the wind. But that's kind of the range. I think even how hard as the wind was blowing, that you give him a 40-yarder, he can make that, which is really challenging. But he was really accurate. I was leaving his foot. It wasn't like lucky kicks. It looked like every one of them, every 6 out of 6 were all true.
Get more from the Cajun Cannons Notebook tonight on Sports Talk. Him and Christian will be bringing it to you from 4 to 8 o'clock. I'm Steve Geller with Bobby. We're signing off from training camp today, and we'll be back. Well, the Cajun Cannon will be back on Monday. We get a few days of Zach and Amos Morale covering the team now in our COVID rotation of training camp. All right, Cajun Cannon, tell them who dat.
All right, who dat, baby? Hopefully that's the case. Keep playing.